Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I lied when I said that we were going to Poland. We obviously weren't. I just making that up, just making sure you guys are still paying attention. We are going into the game, though, Vendetta, and what can we expect on this Inferno map? Na'Vi won the first, but only barely in overtime.
Yeah, and that was their map pick as well, right?
Yeah.
We were thinking that that was, if anything, that would be the one map where Na'Vi just steamrolls EnVy, and instead EnVy put up an excellent fight.
Oh my god, that grenade absolutely destroying EnVy, but they're going to get their revenge immediately. Flamey, 2 health, running back in the boy. If he gets any kills right now, that is going to be an absolute miracle, and they're all coming for him. He actually picks up one. Sixer jumping into the bomb site, but it might not be enough here. That's a big turnaround for EnVy. I thought that grenade was going to end them.
Out of all the kills that Flamey could have gotten in that situation as well, Sixer was probably the worst one, because he was the one who had taken most damage from the nades as well. At a fast pace from EnVyUs, though, right off the bat, straight into Banana. Actually going up against pretty much an ideal setup for Na'Vi as well. They had 3 players over towards that B bomb site. But
they were obviously playing for it. Like they put the grenade in close to the wall.
Yeah,
expecting, they were
Na'Vi
expecting for people to be there.
that. Yeah, they were so set for that. They had everything in order to deal with it. Just not finding the trades, Keo and Scream just to open things up.
It's a good kill for Simple, but Haji good with the USP on Mirage as well. Oh, sorry, on the Overpass. But now, following it up again.
I like this from Electronic, though. Again, like, you haven't taken any damage. You still have full light cav. You can very easily invest into head Kevlar, and also you had a ZZ as well. So
and he bought a UMP.
Is he going to drop that off? Surely. Or did he drop the ZZ?
Probably dropped the CZ, didn't he?
Yeah, he's got a USP on him. All right, that works too. I guess he still gets the full head armor, right? And that's kind of the big game changer. I think it's more important to have head armor if you have a UMP than a ZZ. I think ZZ you can kind of set yourself up to being a one and done kind of a player.
Yep. Yeah. Chances are you're not going to be in a really long fight with the CZ 75, whereas UMP could be interesting. What a great start for EnVy. And again, Na'Vi had the setup to deal. They were anticipating that push-up Banana. They got what they were looking for, but then EnVy just powering through the Glocks, which is obviously great news for them. See if they can hold on to this victory here. Attempted peek for Flamey, unable to connect with the Deagle. And EnVy just making their way up the middle now and taking over the apartments area, which is pretty standard.
Let's see how they're approaching. Oh, nice shot from Scream there. He's been feeling it so far. Interesting to see whether or not EnVy have a similar approach to what they did on Overpass. Just like fairly slow and methodical, which is somewhat surprising for us, considering the turmoil within that roster. But definitely working out so far. And they've been doing a really good job with pistol rounds as well, which is obviously a massive get for them.
Yeah.
Not being the most coordinated team in the world. So 3 for 3 in pistols as well. Now we see 2-man rotation. Keo still just wreaking havoc over to Teddy bombs. I'm going to commit to the B bomb. Scream finds Edward peeking out. And now the world is their oyster. They don't know for sure if there's more people. Now they know the things here. I think it's pretty safe to assume that Na'Vi wouldn't have made any sort of rotation in time to stack a bomb site.
No, I mean, they were pretty much scattered, weren't they? It's a good attempt with the Deagle for the smoke from Flamey, but unable to do much of anything. So they get a kill with the UMP. They pick up one more kill with the Deagle there, and that's all that Na'Vi gets. So EnVy are going to be quite happy with this scenario. They don't give away any AKs to be picked up either, so just the UMP survives.
Yeah, that's the one Flamey brought with him, right? Like that he bought up initially as well. So Na'Vi they don't really get anything to build off of, which you see some of the times when people hold on to ZZs or whatnot going into the 3rd round. I mean, it's definitely getting the start they need. And yeah, you asked about the expectations I had for EnVyUs going into this map. Again, I'm stuck with the same feeling that Na'Vi should be able to close this out in pretty easy fashion, like 16-8, 16-7 kind of a scoreline. But EnVy have been doing a remarkably good job. And again, if they're just continuously winning pistol rounds, that should net them 6 rounds just off the back of that. And I do find it hard to see that they wouldn't be able to pick up at least 1 or 2 rifle rounds.
I mean, yeah, you're going to be going a fair distance just based off that. You're right. It's going to be fun to see if EnVy can continue on the level that they had on Overpass. Although I kind of expect him to be having more success on the T side than I do on the CT side. Like, I think, I think Zeus is going to be able to mess around with him a fair bit once he gets to play on the T side, and they can sort of push their rotations around a bit. I think it's going to be a problem for Envy.
Yeah, no, playing CT side when you're not exactly perfectly in tune on a map like Inferno is so hard, especially because like well-coordinated teams usually have these rotations so well planned out. Well, that was most half the middle D push I've seen in a long while. Just sent XMS in to die. Scream still left to pick up the scraps, but the remainder of the team has moved over towards A, and they also found an aggressive Na'Vi player in Apps.
Couple of people down towards the pit, but again, Envy should be able to crack this one open. Electronic Simple there in pretty dangerous positions.
Simple loves that place. He loves playing from Graveyard. If I was playing against Na'Vi and almost any Byron I go towards A, I would save a Molly for that spot.
Yeah, it's just very very hard to fight when he's in this one. Electronic going to be one that's going to draw all the attention away. Big opportunity for Simple. He gets a headshot, but that was the one kill that he needed. The first fight that he took there. If he'd got that one, that would have been something. Electronic jumping down, hoping to get an angle on the guy carrying the bomb. He still had a pretty big impact on this round, but I'm not sure it's going to be quite enough. 2-on-2. And again, lacking the armor, it's going to be... He jumps his way through. Haji's waiting for him on the other side. And Edward was already low on health, so he should be going down. He's going to pick up the MAC-10 and walk the other way.
Not really sure if I'm down with that, Edward. Might as well set up for exit frags, unless you know that there's a weapon down here. Because obviously holding on to a MAC-10 going into the first buy round is not going to do you a whole lot of good.
No, I mean, maybe play aggressive on Banana with it, if you're really feeling it.
Yeah, could also go, yeah.
But it can backfire.
Aggression somewhere, Banana Apps, where you can kind of close the distance on the EnVyUs players.
Good attempt. I mean, I think Simple had a chance to really turn that around if he could have got that first kill and ducked back down.
Yeah.
Because then they're on the bomb site, but they have to worry about Apps and Graveyard at the same time. So there was an opportunity, but ultimately Envy are going to be up 3-0. So they are loving life at the moment. Going to be buying all the rifles they could possibly want. And the MAC-10 is going to stay intact in this round. Edward will have kept it.
Yeah, well, that does allow him to actually be pretty much the only player on Navi's side. So maybe that's the thought process from the previous round.
Wow.
Double nade working out.
Yeah, I mean, he even pushed forward Zeus and just took a little bit of damage early on. When he fell back, he ran into the grenades. Flaming gonna hit one more. That's such a lot of return from just using grenades. It's almost a little bit unbelievable. There's the rifle being picked up from Edward, though. And now we kind of, just to get back in the game early on, you want to pick up this round and don't let Envy have too much of a start.
That is definitely true. Right now, Envy seemingly wanting to go towards that A bomb site, and if I knew Electronic and Simple was playing A, I would go B pretty much 15 out of 15. just avoid that action.
Avoid the madness. Yeah, I mean, Electronic has obviously proven to be an incredible pit player. He's so good at...
We bought shares in it back in 2015.
Yeah, like that long ago, and you could still, you could tell.
Yeah.
I think even early on in Navi, that's all they let him do on this map. Like, they just permanently put him in the pit just to have him as an anchor there. But now he's getting a little bit more freedom. Let's see what Envy decide to do. It looks like they're going to end up at the A bomb side, which honestly seems like the perfect call of the moment.
Yeah.
Now we have gambled big on it being a B attack, and it's not.
Flamey's going to be the sole defender. Might be able to pick up a double kill here. Definitely needs to get a multi-kill if Navi are going to get any shot at this, but it's going to end with 0. That's going to be the full save from Navi instead. They've already given up on this. They know there's no shot in it. Set up in decent enough positions from the bomb site to hold off any T's coming hunting for you. I guess it remains to be seen whether or not Envy have any interest of hunting as well, though. They don't have the greatest of economy across the board. You can see 6 are an XMS, low on money. It's only really Haji and Kyo. That means that they do have the possibility to throw away 2 weapons at least.
Yeah.
In order to hunt for it. And I think that's definitely worthwhile considering the economic state of Na'Vi. The biggest thing is obviously whoever survives on the Na'Vi side. Like, let's say you get 2 frags on Na'Vi, just don't let him pick up the op on Simple's end. That's easier said than done. It's
always super interesting because obviously surviving with 3 rifles, Navi sort of be able to do something in the next round anyway.
Yeah.
But if it keeps happening like this, I mean, if there are a lot of rounds and a half where the CT side has to save 2, 3 rifles again and again and again, they could end up in a position where, like, almost all of their rounds are, like, not quite great, you know?
Yeah, they
like,
fall into the trap of like,
Yeah.
oh, we can buy up around this. We can buy up around this. So they either lack in weaponry or utility or both.
Yeah.
Eventually, as the money gets whittled down.
So this round is fine, in my opinion. Like,
Yeah.
the UMP is not that much of a...
I think Edward was able to drop a rifle as well.
Yeah.
So that lessens the blow a little bit. But obviously, massive get for Envy if they were to be able to win this one as well.
Good grenade damage and the follow-up kill for Edward there. Going to be important. One backs down, Flamey sticking around. I'm not quite sure what's happening with Na'Vi here because surely they would want to defend each other, and apparently Envy was so confused by the whole situation that they forget to check the corner and maybe were flashed as well. Scream is going to be getting the kill on Flamey eventually with the Molotov, but that looked very, very uncoordinated, I would say, for the Na'Vi side, and Simple's going to be going down. Missing the opportunity a lot, riding on Edward. He's, oh my god, picking up beautiful headshots, taking down Scream and Sixer. They both wanted to peek in, and they both went down. Electronic with the last kills. Big save for Na'Vi.
Very big. Edward was kind of the one who set the pace as well on Overpass as well, if you remember back the very start of it. Just doing a lot of heavy lifting for Na'Vi. In that scenario, Envy kind of buggled about it. I think XMS is flashed when he tries to find the first kills on the 2 aggressive players from the side of Na'Vi. It's pretty neat.
Yeah.
Little graphic in there.
Everybody loves the augmented reality, of course.
I do. This is such a cool addition that's not utilized enough.
Yeah. It's actually the thing that's I kind of like about just generally attending PGL run events. It's just that you know there's going to be something new every time. Like, they're obviously an incredibly hardworking company, but just they find the time anyway to find new stuff, which is so cool. Edward, actually going to be immediately grenaded down. I feel like maybe Na'Vi
needing that spot so much.
They should probably stop doing it and a flick that maybe sometimes Simple would have hit, but Haji's going to take him down.
Simple's been feeling off with the ops so far in this best of 3. Obviously, early days on the second map, but didn't really do a whole lot with it on Overpass either. It was mainly when he got a rifle in his hands that he was able to bring it back. And he did end up on 30+ kills as well, which is the simple thing to do. But definitely felt like he was a bit off. Ooh, lost it. Well, Edward tries to make up for it. Gets traded out by Scream, though. It's the bomb site in the hands of Envy. I feel like that's a bit of an optimistic Molotov. Like, if there's anyone in that corner, nobody even bothered to check for it.
Yeah.
Could have very easily been a denied bomb plant, but the rest of the Na'Vi squad is over towards A. Xmas is already on the hunt here.
Yeah, now they're really feeling it, like, on the Envy side. They know that they've got them very low on economy. That's a lot of rounds now where Na'Vi have actually just sustained heavy damage walking into grenade to top banana.
Yeah.
And I understand why you don't want to give them top banana for free, but at the same time,
how much is it worth?
Yeah, how much is it worth?
It seemed like Flamey had learned this lesson because he'd fallen for that 2 to 3 times. And at this point, like, Edward didn't get the memo. It's like Flamey forgot, like, oh yeah, by the way, they keep double nading that spot.
Don't go there. Yeah. It's not worth it. I mean, even the previous round, even if they won it, it's the fact that, like, Edward fell back into the bomb side and Flamey decided to push up, and they were, like, obviously not coordinated. Just love this. Look at this.
That is so cool.
It's the absolute next level, isn't it?
Oldest major championship winner of all time, winning the Krakow major with Gambit.
Yeah, what a thing that was.
I love the fact that he spoke his word into existence in that sense, right? Like, he's not going to give up until he wins the major. Goes on, wins the next major.
Now, I mean, the thing that obviously absolutely has to happen at some point is that Simple wins a major. Like,
He needs to pin the tweet, though. Otherwise, it's not going to happen.
Oh, that's the key?
Yeah.
I like that idea.
Suze broke the code.
Think about what a crime it would be if Simple never got to win a major.
To be fair, though, when you go back in history, like, there's so many talented players that never won the biggest events, right?
Which is the most upsetting for you so far?
Real.
Oh, yeah.
Like, if you think about, like, CPLs would have been the thing. He won CPL tours.
Yeah.
Like, not in tours the city, but, like, the CPL UK stop, for instance. Like, there's so many exceptional players that never really, like, again, they would always be rated as some of the greatest players of all time, but they never got that crowning achievement in that sense. Yeah. Obviously, he won plenty of other tournaments, but yeah, there's always like something you felt like they definitely had the skill to do it. They just didn't have the right surroundings, so the circumstances didn't pan out for them.
Here's with the 5-7. Something that we were talking about. Potential gun that might see more relevancy if the CSAT nerf is enough to keep people away from it. Although I actually think Flamey's one of the players that has been playing with 5-7 in the past. So
yeah, that does make sense. Yeah, we talked about it. I think it would be a bit of an overreaction from players if they were to be like, yep, can't use the CSAT anymore, lost 2 damage.
I mean, given the first map that we've seen, that obviously wasn't the case.
Yeah,
you know, they were still loving it.
Still doing a lot of damage.
This round, I mean, if you're lucky and you stack the UMP and the M4 in the right position, maybe you could do something.
Oh, they have stacked it. It's just seemingly the wrong bomb site as of right now. Electronic is going to be able to find Haji on the opposite side of the map, though, so that might put pressure on EnVy to commit to this B bomb site. I'm going to put down the smokes. Simple. Goes for another peek. Not going to find any success this time either.
Edward, I mean, they have USPs on the side, so whatever happens, it's kind of hard to imagine that they could have done anything else. Bomb will go down, and Electronic will presumably, actually he's somehow shown up with the M4. I'm not really sure about that.
I know, just
get it out.
Better of it, yeah.
I mean, as much as you want to participate, it's probably not worth it at that point in time. And Simple is going to be backing out as well. Not so much to save the USP, that doesn't obviously make any sense, but, you know, just to deny them the kill.
Yeah, preventing $300 going their direction.
Oh, and even, I think, picking up an M4 there, Electronic swapping out with the AK. That's big news.
Yeah, that's the kill on Haji earlier. Yeah. That definitely makes it worthwhile for Na'Vi to hold on to it. Still, though, not going to have, like, the most amazing buy. Zeus will have the money to drop an off for Simple. So there should be enough to get a buy-in for Na'Vi, but again, we've seen that they could get starved for utility. And again, if they want to continue on putting pressure on Banana, they're going to have to spend a lot of utility early on in the round. That hasn't necessarily worked out for them either. So what the go-to move for Na'Vi is at this point is going to be interesting to see. Yeah, it's going to be Simple and Electronic. They actually don't opt to drop an off. I guess Zeus wants armor. That makes sense. He wants utility as well. Might be a bit of a risky investment, especially because Simple hasn't necessarily done all that much with the op so far in this series.
No, it's been very limited, and he's had some opportunities as well, so we'll see if he gets back into the swing of things later on. But right now, EnVy 6-1. They are doing a great job in the first half here on Inferno. We did sort of talk about the potential for them having a bit of a slower time on the CT side. Like, it might be more tricky for them to play that. But I don't think it matters if they can have like 10 or 11 rounds in this first half. Then they're not gonna care, you know.
Yeah, especially with how well they've been doing on pistols as well. 3 for 3 so far. Oh, nice. Simple though, bailing his team out, finding 2 frags. Not gonna be able to find Kiyoshima though before he goes down. Does leave it in 3v3 situations, but rotations have been made from Na'Vi, and you can already sell the back as well. Fighting the right onto the site. Kyo. 3rd kill of the round now. 1v1 situation, but probably not expecting Edward. Oh. Or is he?
Edward seemed like he was in the perfect position to get a kill every single time, but Kiyoshima winning the round. And I've got to wonder. Electronic is playing by the hay cart.
Yeah.
Simple's playing on the tiny balcony next to him, the flower bed, yeah. And Zeus is inside the bomb site doing what?
Hanging out.
Just hanging out.
Yeah, I guess the idea is maybe that he throws a flash. I'm not sure if he actually did this or not, but if he throws a flash back towards Graveyard, right?
Yeah.
That's something that's going to be unaffected for... Simple's going to be unaffected. Flamey's... no, Electronic's going to be unaffected, but I think that everything gets messed up by the really sick pop flash that EnVy throw out there that completely catches Electronic out. Simple has to obviously adjust for that. He's able to find 2 kills, which is more than what you could have expected of him, honestly, in that kind of scenario. But yeah, it seems like that was a bit of a gimmicky setup from Na'Vi's end, if that was the idea. Because you're relying heavily on EnVy just kind of walking into you. Yeah, or not utilizing apartment at all. Yeah,
there was something odd about that setup. Maybe we can check it out at some later point. They've somehow got the kill on XMS early on and stolen his AK. Zeus holding on to it for the moment.
Reddit going wild right now.
People love it.
Not having dropped that off to Simple.
Oh, to find the kill. So he's proving
go.
everybody wrong at the moment.
Worth it.
It was a pretty good meme, though, during the Star Series tournament.
Yeah. Also, 2-man advantage. Electronics still in a pretty solid position. They've got the crossfires as well, which is really nice for Na'Vi here. And no utility used on the side of EnVy either up to this point. They're just going to walk on contact.
Yeah, getting really deep into the bomb site. There's a good opening. Electronic going to pick up one. Waiting with a reload. Want to make sure he can get one more kill if needed. In fact, he's going to pick it up on Hachi. Only get the one, and Sixer obviously not going to be able to survive this any longer. Will be going down. AWP picked up. Can they get any more guns from anybody? No, that's a bit of a shame. But still, that's a big win for Na'Vi.
Yeah. It feels like those are the kind of rounds that EnVyUs can't let slip away if they want to close out a map like Inferno. I mean, we saw it on Overpass as well. Weren't able to capitalize off of the winning the first half pistol. Eventually, it ends up going into overtime. And yeah, you could talk about how necessarily that isn't, a following effect of how everything started. But I mean, if you win your 3 rounds, Na'Vi doesn't get off to 6-1 lead, 7-2, and you don't end up in that awkward situation from the get-go. This time a bit of a role reversal, so maybe Na'Vi will be able to climb back into this. Again, though, aggressively in Banana, and it's not working out. Sectioned off, Edward's all in his lonesome. Flamey doesn't decide to drop the smoke to be able to help out.
Flamey getting a couple through the smoke, that's really important. But he would have needed a 3rd one there. It's not impossible for Zeus and Electronic to do something, but they need some sort of ticket to get back into the round. Somebody getting killed for the smoke, and yeah, they're not even going to try it. Thought maybe they'd hang around just to see if there was going to be an opportunity, but
they had the utility to do so, but not having a defuse kit, I didn't notice whether or not any of the remaining Na'Vi players had a defuse kit on them as well. But if there's no defuse kit in play, then again, your time is extremely limited. So even if you do have the utility to flush people out of positions and whatnot, that's still going to take time.
Wait,
and that's time you don't have.
Are they going to be able to seize legs if they jump up? They're not going to be jumping, so I guess that is a powerful position. I think if they actually jump up, they might seize legs and gets a couple of kills, but...
The question is if that's worth it, right? Like, sure,
yeah.
you take out a fair few players from the MU side, but they've been racking up cash. So they're going to be able to buy up no problem. You could have had 2 rifles going into this. Again, we could have ended, you talked about this during the earlier stages of the rounds, the fact that the CT side could very easily end up in a situation where they want to buy up around it. I mean, you have 2 rifles on Susan Electronic. You have 2.9 on Simple. That could have, again, yeah, he's going to buy into it. Why wouldn't you just hold on to that 2nd rifle?
Yeah, that seems like a bit of a misstep, and the round was already lost, so 8-2, the scoreline. EnVy, they're just having such a good time. That was devastating grenade.
All right.
Far too much damage being taken early on from the T side. But still, the equipment is not great on Na'Vi's side here, so I don't know. I feel like they really need some consecutive rounds right now on the Na'Vi side. Something has to change.
I think that the initial thing that needs to be adjusted is how they're approaching Banana.
Yeah.
They've got aggressive more or less every single time. They want to fight for top Banana. That's perfectly fine, but have some contingency plan for what to do when they fight back. And they haven't had that at any given point. We've seen Flamey being caught out alone, being separated from his teammates because of Molotovs. We've seen Edward do the same thing. We've seen Zeus go aggressive behind the wood planks to get caught out. Like,
yeah,
they don't really seem to have an idea of what to do if EnVy actually want to spend their utility to get the control. So at that point, maybe you just need to fall back. Maybe you get a second op. You have Flamey playing over towards that B bomb site, just playing the back pillar towards Dark Corner, and have one player from, Ruins or something, just take attention, that kind of stuff. Because the aggressive moves right now are not doing anything for you.
Top mid control for the EnVy side, although I'm a bit worried about the clock right now. 20 seconds as they try and see if they can split through CT spawn into the B bomb site. Another Inferno classic, but the problem is with this little time left, if anything goes wrong right now, that is going to be a huge problem. 10 seconds and that's the ball making its way through. If he could have got that kill, that would have been huge. Simple gets a couple, but they're still going to get off plant down. And oh my god, what a great turnaround. Picking off Haji, looking for more. Simple just ready to close out this round. He's going to get shut down. And now can Sixer crush the dreams of Na'Vi. He's got the scope. He doesn't realize there's a guy to his left, so he's got to be very, very careful. And there's the kill from Zeus. That might just have done it. Scream low on health. and they will win the round. But I guarantee you, if Edward had got that kill with the MP9 and stayed alive for 1 second, that would have been the round anyway.
Yeah, it definitely would have. Scream actually just pre-firing before it runs through the smoke towards main is what catches Edward off guard. It's unfortunate for him. Luckily enough, though, they do have a second player on that B bomb side named Simple. That does do wonders for you. But yeah, if I'm Navi right now, I'm just holding off. Yeah, I'm not giving the off to Simple anymore. He's doing way more damage with the rifle in hand. Flaming out. He's gonna don the op.
Yeah, we've actually seen him be very effective with it. So,
and he plays that op on Inferno like Kucher used to do.
Yeah,
in the old side, like he's straight up an angle grinder.
That's an old reference that most people forgot at this point, but it's true. There was a point where that was really a reality. Running into the crossfire, and it's working out perfectly for the rifle side of things. It eventually goes down, but ultimately should not be jeopardizing the round here, although he will get one kill. One more coming in from Scream. And Na'Vi unable to even wait for their teammates getting shut down before they get close to even kind of a retake here. This is ridiculous. With this kind of a beginning, Na'Vi have to be winning these rounds. Flamey sneaking on in. Might have spotted something, but they're going to lose the round 2 versus 4. Absolutely soul-crushing if you're Na'Vi.
Scream has been an absolute beast so far. Like, he's really feeling it. He's the one player that can go toe-to-toe with Simple at this point. Just straight-up duels. 13 kills to his name already. And he had an excellent overpass as well. I think he ended up at, what, 35, 36 kills?
Yeah, it was way up there, wasn't it?
Great sign for EnVyUs.
I mean, if you can't win around like that, then that raises some really serious questions, doesn't it? What will it take in that case? Because the crossfire was great. They traded 3 for 1, so no problem.
Should be around any given day, no, any day of the week, really. And again, it's not to take anything away from EnVyUs, but that's Na'Vi messing up. And we saw that quite a bit on the T side of Overpass as well. Not playing the afterplan positions correctly or having lackluster executions. Well,
a little bit of an MP7 in play, and actually 2 of them. So it should be interesting to see if they can round up a couple of kills. Obviously, the price has been reduced a bit for it, and it was already pretty good. So
definitely not gonna quite go toe-to-toe with Haji's AK. Simple though, still in a good position to do some damage. He's gonna find one. Actually gets out of dodge initially as well. Find a second one on Sixer. So still within a chance here. Scream in a really good opportunity, with a really good opportunity to take him out.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's kind of impressive what Simple can do with limited firepower, but
yeah,
in that case, maybe he could have waited a bit longer.
Wrapped around through boiler, maybe double up on quad with Edward.
Yeah, something like that. I think he was in the zone and thinking that this is going to be fine, but that AK-47 going to come out on top, and I think Edward's probably going to suffer the exact same fate.
He might hold on to his weapons though. He's got Kevlar, smoke 2 flashes. Just gets spotted out, and that means he has to bail out.
Yeah, I was going to say that's definitely the call then. Another round here for Envy, and they are, this is just out of control. Scream goes up with the bomb, but who cares?
And you said it, like, this is an easier map to play on the T side. There's no doubt about it.
Sure.
But, like, it's only so much easier, right? Like, there's a limit to how hard the CT side can be. So if EnVyUs are looking at now 11, 12 rounds, it doesn't matter, like, how much of a struggle you might have on the CT side. You could just luck into 3 rounds, for instance.
Yeah, I mean, when you're up to 10 rounds, if you win the pistol in the second half, then I mean that just might be it. So I don't know. Na'Vi
having issues.
They're having a lot of issues, and one of them is this top banana position. This time they're going to skip past all of it and put Simple down to the bottom of banana. So that's a new feel for Na'Vi, at least something a little bit different.
Yeah, it's the first time they haven't really met any sort of resistance early on in that area. And because of that as well, I mean, it's a happy accident for EnVyUs because they would have ran into a 4-man defense in that case. So hard to get favorable trades, but this has also allowed Na'Vi to strengthen up their defense as well. I'm actually just it's just a matter of time before someone rotates off from Navi's side on that V-bombs and goes over towards A.
Yeah, it's going to happen eventually, but it might be just a little bit too late. They're already running out, so 3 men here to defend. Haji goes down, Flamey patiently waiting to get that kill. And now they've sort of slowed down a bit, which might be completely devastating because Simple snuck up behind them. Edward hiding in the corner with the AK-47. They are trapped in a box right now, Envy. And again, there should be absolutely no way out of this, but they're already getting 1 kill there. Good enough job from Flamey, and Edward with the follow-up. It should be the round right here and now with Sixer half health, trying to get the bomb down. Not going to happen. Simple eventually finding the 1 kill needed there and trading out for the AK-47. So something at the end of it.
A little bit of a silver lining for Na'Vi there.
Yeah.
Not a whole lot has been going their way this half. Easy as you like for Edward.
10-4.
It is a pretty staggering deficit for Na'Vi right now. You would imagine that, or you would expect them to do better than what they've done so far. But to be fair, like not making the adjustments needed in Banana to fight for that early control, that's definitely punished them. And EnVyUs, I think they've been better at this T side than what they did on Overpass because they were doing stuff that was working on Overpass, trying to change the pace of the game. That and you said that ended up in 2 B rushes that kind of gifted Na'Vi an easy couple of points on the board. This time they've been much more consistent with how they want to pressure Banana and how they just keep going back to it as well. I think for the better part, it's been mainly anti-ecos that's gone towards the E-bomb side outside of the 1 executes we saw through apps with the wonky Na'Vi setup. But EnVy have been really good at recognizing what's going wrong for Na'Vi.
Timely flashbang there for Edward, and they have actually just finally given up on the banana control. Like they just aren't feeling it at all.
Well, this is well, remains to be seen if EnVy wants to push that advantage any further. We've seen, even with these passive setups, whenever EnVy have put down a smoke towards spawn, Simple is very likely to do a wide swing. Similar story, but better result for him. But that's also been an issue. Sure, the initial defense from Na'Vi has been shaky over towards B, but even the rotations coming in haven't really been able to help out.
Yeah, they haven't done anything. Kiyoshima has that 1 AWP, and I think that's sort of what they're banking on right now for EnVy. They're just hoping that he can somehow find an opening into one of these bomb sites. It's not such a bad idea. I mean, what else are you really going to do? So, waiting for it. Smoke disappears. That should be the timing. Simple, ready with a flashbang, and of course there is more coming. Even a 3rd man rotating in. Simple turning around Kiyoshima, somehow picking up that kill. Edward, only going to get the 1. There's a good kill for Zeus, but he's going to go down. 4 seconds here, and they're just going to have the bomb plant in the last possible second. So, huge success for EnVy so far. If they can close this one out, Na'Vi are going to be absolutely heartbroken. Haji in position with the AWP. If they cross, he's not going to get the first shot, but the follow-up from Sixer very well could have been one with the Deagle. Now it's all on Haji, 1 versus 2. He's got the lineup for it. He's going to pick up Electronic, and now the pistol out. He knows Flamey's low, and another win for EnVy. 11-4 in their favor. I don't know what's happening to Na'Vi, but it's obviously not very good at the moment.
It's all gone wrong, hasn't it? There, you see, EnVy is communicating well too. Like so easily, you could have seen people not being aware of the fact that the last player alive is heavily tagged and whatnot. Obviously, timing on that is fortunate for EnVyUs, but we've seen Simple getting caught out a ton of times in that position now. I think 3 in total.
Yeah, that whole B defense, they were denied the top banana control and then even falling further back. There didn't really seem to be any real solution, so...
Yeah, we never actually saw them playing like the backside pillar thing, which is so common with if you have a capable offer, which they definitely could do, especially with Flamey. I mean, obviously you could put Simple there, but if you want to put Flamey there as well, he can play the angles well enough on Inferno to do so with great success. And, ooh, is he going to spot the foot? Oh, he's not.
Scream turning around. That's an easy kill, but they did lose Sixer in the meantime, and now the wrap around Archway. Are they going to wait and catch anyone in CT spawn? Kiyoshima certainly trying, but that stolen USP of Edward is going to be taking his head clean off. Now the question is, can they find a bit more Na'Vi? They absolutely need this pistol round. Haji, he's been so good with the pistol, but this time they were just a little bit too close, so kind of a chaotic round, but I think Na'Vi actually had a really good plan in this one, and it seemed to have worked out.
Definitely has. Cool setup from EnVyUs as well, and apps there. probably hoping for more of a focus from Na'Vi towards that area of the map, and that's something that Na'Vi are going to do a lot in their defaults. They're going to have Edward and Flamey moving and working through those AAPs pretty much every single round. And if EnVy have done their homework, that's definitely something that they can shut down with 3 men. Like, yeah, you might leave mid open, but Na'Vi are not the kind of team to take mid control early. So I think that's definitely a golden opportunity for them to make Na'Vi have to adjust and actually figure things out. And they don't have that luxury of having too many rounds to do so.
No, they're at the point where they can't really make any more mistakes. It'll be fun to see if they can turn it all the way around and make some sort of comeback here in the second half. Na'Vi, they win the pistol, and that's the first step in the right direction, but they still have to contend with the C75s and the one deal there on XMS.
Yeah, French people with ZZs.
Yeah.
It's a pretty iconic duo.
It is. You wanna be careful.
See what they have in mind. Not going to be any sort of stack from the French side. They do have quite a few flashes actually here, in addition to a couple of smokes as well. So we might see some sudden bursts of aggression. Na'Vi on there, and they're just going to go about their business as usual, take control over apps. Can already see Edward over towards stairs. Doesn't have Flamey with him inside of CPL this time around, but Na'Vi just playing it patiently, waiting out the utility that EnVyUs has. Should be a formality at this point.
Yeah, this defense shouldn't quite be enough to hold it. If Na'Vi wrap around Archway, then yeah, you're pretty much compromised immediately.
EnVy on there, and they decided to rotate one player over towards that B bomb site initially, see if they can find anything with aggressive flashes on Banana. They're not. Instead, it's going to be the wrap from Na'Vi here. Actually, it might be slow enough to allow EnVy to get in a decent enough position.
Oh, but they actually wrapped not just through Arch, but all the way in through TC's spawn. So you're right. If they kept going to A, they could have been maybe shot on the back at some point. But yeah, best of luck, Kiyoshima, because there's a lot of people coming this way, and Electronic is just waiting for the rest to come out. Kiyoshima's going to win the fight, which is great news. But again, the B bomb site will fall no matter what. And can he make it out of there, Kiyoshima? Is he going to stick around with the
He is,
Mac 10?
I guess he could get his teammate at the bottom mid to potentially bait for him if Zeus goes further down. But Zeus seems to think the better of it. Now he's going to spot the tail end of EnVyUs players bailing towards T-spawn, so pretty clear indication of what's to come. Na'Vi, though, no real interest in actually hunting for these weapons outside of Edward, potentially, I'd say, with that Mac 10. Definitely don't want to send Simple or Flamey in.
No, there's no real point, is there?
No.
A 6th round being picked up, and it's too soon to tell really what kind of defense EnVy are going to have on this side. I'd be curious to see if they're going to try and play any other rounds aggressively. I mean, we saw a little bit out of Na'Vi. There was one round where Simple pushed to bottom Banana, and there was a couple of rounds actually where they sort of dual pushed apartments.
Yeah.
But that was like the most that we saw, right? We didn't see any of those
down mid kind of thing.
Down mid, all the rest of it, you know.
Never saw any aggressive offing either. I guess Simple hasn't necessarily been firing on all cylinders with that weapon as of right now. Predominantly playing the rotation as well over towards B, which does not necessarily allow him to be that aggressive. But yeah, we definitely could have seen more out of Na'Vi to kind of put it to EnVy to deal with early aggression. That hasn't necessarily been the case. And I think EnVy are just praising their lucky stars that is actually the case.
A lot of grenades being used at top Banana, and unlike Na'Vi, EnVy just aren't even there to receive any of them. So they're just listening on the other side and counting and hoping that someone's going to show up at the B-bomb side, because they do have a setup for it. With a flashbang, just pay attention, everybody.
Oh. Haji with that saved UMP from the previous round is just going to hang out and pit. I think the best case scenario for him is to wait for someone to plan, hopefully, towards default, and then get an easy kill on the guy planning, and then go down in flames.
Yeah, just...
You take that one kill.
It's kind of working out for the moment. Zeus is quite close by. Haji actually somehow still wins the fight, which I'm not even sure how. Now that would, I mean, if everything worked out for EnVy, they would this would be Na'Vi sort of returning to the B-bomb site.
Yeah.
But that doesn't happen, so all is good in terms of where Na'Vi are. Should be 7-11 here, and we'll see what can happen next. I am a little bit interested to see how EnVy are going to try and play the CT side.
Well, definitely, especially because Na'Vi aren't the kind of team, especially with Suze as a name-given leader, who strays too far off their defaults in that sense. Like, sure, they might have a ton of different executes that they go off out from their defaults, but if you can mess with their initial setups and whatnot, I think EnVy can find a lot of success there. For right now, they're just holding on, hoping that some Na'Vi players should come in. There's nothing really to gain from Na'Vi from chasing this outside of padding your stats.
Which is important. Let's not.
I mean, yeah, that's true.
Don't want to discourage people from doing that, obviously. 14 kills on Edward and Simple, so they're sort of doing a fine enough job. Then it's 15 on Haji and Scream as well, I believe.
Yeah, they're doing well for themselves. Scream obviously started the game off really hot, getting up to 13 kills very early on with Keo, and then Haji has been picking up the mantle later on as we've progressed. And once again, Edward's having a pretty good game on the side of Na'Vi.
Yeah. I always thought as Edward as being sort of a conversion specialist, but
oh yeah, no, I could definitely get on board with that.
This is the big test right now. Suzuki dropped a bit low, and she went
very low,
hanging around. Yeah, even lower now. That's not the best start for him, although I don't think, again, losing Suze is not maybe the biggest loss at the moment. Just the question of whether or not they can gain anything from it, and so far, it's just been a big exchange over at Top Banana, which has left EnVy very low on utility. Yeah,
that is true. The one benefit, though, and what they've been able to do that Na'Vi never did really, is actually maintain control of Top Banana.
Yeah.
So even if they've used a lot of utility now, that does mean that if Na'Vi wants to venture towards that B-bomb set, they're going to have to use some utility in return. Trying his luck. Ooh, Scream gets the better of him, though. Lines him up through the smoke. That's an early kill, and that's a lot of the utility really that Na'Vi had saved up on their side gone. As you can see now, only left with 2 Molotovs. We'll make that 1 Molotov now and 2 smokes. 3 smokes as Edward picks up Flamey's utility. Still room to do something, but it's going to be really hard for Edward to actually get out of apps here.
Yeah, maybe somebody could make a bit of noise down on the low ground. It's Haji, though, picking up a great Molotov. That's so well timed as well. 20 seconds. They have to just wait behind it. They can't do anything else. This is going to be very close to the clock, and they need one big opening. Haji with a bit of a crossfire. Scream on the other side. They keep going in. Haji's going to be going down. Scream, double for him. Needs the trip right now. And 8 seconds left. They're going to get the bomb plant down. Sixer, Kiyoshima, and XMS coming in for the retake. And not sure about this Na'Vi position with 2 men on the bomb site. If the guy apps, I think that's Edward. If he goes down, that's an absolute disaster. And he has to stay alive. He's going to win the fight against Sixer. That's unbelievably important. Otherwise, the 2 men on the bomb site would have been locked in. XMS is going to take him down. Good burst fire with the FAMAS, and now it's a 2-on-2. It's still not out of the woods yet. Kiyoshima sneaking on in, but he's going to get his face taken right off. Electronic with that kill, and Na'Vi actually, they pass the first test. They make it work.
They do. Barely, though. I mean, with the way Haji's been playing as well, I feel in most cases he's going to get at least 1 kill.
Yeah.
As Na'Vi push up there. Again, buys more time for Scream to actually get a 2nd kill. And if you're already at a disadvantage in Na'Vi's position there, you outright lose, I'd say, probably 90 out of 100 times. Like that's an extremely hard situation to deal with, especially with what you mentioned. One of the players alive would have been Edward, right? And like his position is given away immediately as he loses the duel versus Sixer, or no, wins the duel versus Sixer.
I mean, the fact that Haji can't get the kill immediately also means that he's sort of almost baiting himself into staying for a long time on the balcony, because if he gets the kill, I'm pretty sure he just falls back down.
Yeah.
Like, he just drops in the pit, and then Scream can probably still follow it up, so a little bit unfortunate.
And does put EnVy on an eco as well. XMS with the save weapon. Only one with any real firepower. Well, I guess there is a deagle in the hands of Keo. 2 ZZs as well.
Again, one of those situations where, without meaning any disrespect towards XMS, maybe get that AK over the screen and just...
Yeah, the screen's been playing lights out so far. 17 kills. Oh. Fortunately, it lines up with Sixer there in that scenario. XMS time to shine, potentially.
That's actually very good tapping. Looking for more. Oh my god, I spoke much too soon. XMS absolutely proving himself worthy of that AK-47. Picking up 2 great headshots. The tapping was absolutely on point.
Ooh, I'm curious if there's actually would have been enough space for him to go behind that molly. And again, with how funky Molotov vision is with the smoke, he would have had the better chance of actually seeing anyone, seeing I was close up rather than Seuss. He's going to re-aggress afterwards, though, as the molly extinguishes, and Seuss is finally going to be able to take him out. Still, as you mentioned, pretty good effort, all things considered.
Yeah, that was great, and that's the kind of, I feel like that's the kind of focus we haven't really seen out of XMS so far in the best of 3.
Yeah.
So that's kind of encouraging.
I mean, we do know what he's capable of at times. I mean, that overpass ace he had way back when.
Yeah. No, there's evidence that he can really do it, but
it's all about finding that consistency. And there you see the lineup screen, just unfortunately finding the wrong timing to step out to help his teammate. And XMS with the 2K response. But in any case, Navi gets up to 9 rounds. They're going to be feeling pretty good about that. Also building a fair bit of money on Seuss and Edward here. Electronics sitting at 10K as well. So no real imminent danger of having to go on an eco if they were to lose a round. Off enhance for the first time on the CT side, if I'm not mistaken. On the side of EnVyUs as well. Sixer's going to be donning that. The aggression not panning out, simplifying stupid kills for Banana, and that could very easily just be the green light in towards the B bomb site. Still taking their time, actually. A bit hesitant to move in on that.
yeah, a little bit. I mean, Navi probably are feeling a little bit shaken just from how much tougher this game has really been than most of us were expecting. Sixer not even going to stick around for any amount of time, so they're just going to give it up. And that kind of an opening, I mean, again, this is what, the second bar round for Envy in this half, so yeah, they're going to be a little bit frustrated that they don't even really get a chance to have any kind of a say.
Yeah, that is kind of the rough parts of playing aggressive in Banana. We saw it punishing Navi time and time again on their T side, or when Envy were on the T side. It just doesn't allow for rotations to come in time, even though Navi are hesitant and kind of staggering their way towards the bomb site. They do get a smoke down at least before they cross, so there's not a whole lot Sixer can do. Still going to be really aggressive here. They know how much holding on to this now for it. Actually going to be able to take all 3 players out.
So that's sort of adding a little bit of salt into the wound, isn't it? At this point,
you didn't get to play, and now you get punished by closing out the round in a terrible fashion.
Yeah, like at that point, because you've already made the decision to give up on the round, so at the very least you want is to be able to actually carry something out of it. Not possible, so 10-11, and Navi starting to claw their way back. And remember, again, it was 11-4 in the end of the first half, so
quite the run.
Yeah, right now, Envy probably a bit worried. They do have 5 HE grenades, so a bit of fireworks? No.
4 of them.
They do.
4 of them go down.
They did 3 damage total. With a $1,500 investment.
Not exactly the Astralis payoff.
No, they should have. been looking at more demos, you know.
Definitely could be the case. Navi on their end, not really seeming interested in posturing up for map control at this point. I guess kind of just want to stick as a ball to avoid getting picked up by ZZs. And Keo, you're gonna have a bit of a rough time.
Yeah, unquestionably so. Just no problem at all. The Molotovs and the flashbangs working just fine. And again, Envy just left to scour around on the other side of the map, hoping that they can carry these pistols into the next round and have some sort of an impact there. But this will be Navi equalizing the scoreline, 11-11, and
slowly falling apart for Envy.
What's an easy? Because I feel like this is. It seems like when you're just sort of brand new to watching Counter-Strike that the T side, that's where like all the tactics are and everything. On the CT side, you just have to hold your angles, and if you can just win those fights, it's pretty much great. So why is it that the CT side is so much more difficult to play? Like, I haven't even found like a good way myself to fully like vocalize that problem, or like find a good way to phrase why the CT side is so hard.
Well, one of the reasons is that the rotation tab on Inferno is deceptively long.
Yeah.
Normally, a lot of teams won't necessarily see that as a factor, or at least it won't come across that that easily, because you see a lot of teams make cheap rotations. Again, like in instances where you get caught out with an aggressive push or something like that, that just immediately kills the round because they have no idea of actually getting into a position to fend anything off, especially towards that B bomb side. Much easier towards A because the entire mid section of the map is connected with the bomb site in many ways. But yeah, no, it's mainly down to the fact that rotations do take longer than you usually expect, and especially like with how many avenues of attack if you're forced defensively on the CT side on A, crossfire setups, they're probably your best bet of actually holding people off, but it's still extremely hard to actually be able to do if the T side has any number of flashes or smokes to actually deal with, such as this. That could be like the split seconds that they need to just basically kick the skills off of the defense.
Defense working this time, especially with that double kill from Sixer and a bit of an uncomfortable moment there. Couldn't see anything. Electronic will get somehow 2 in return. And now they have to really think about what they're doing here. The bomb will be planted and they're waiting on the other side. You can tell he really wants to see if he can make his way. I think it's Kyoshima over there. Going to get the headshot on one. So now it's all on Zeus. 1 versus 2. Turning around for the flashbang, and there will be no more coming either. He's going to win. Oh, he's going to actually lose that first fight. Looked like he had plenty of time for the spray, but unable to make it work. Kyoshima will pretty much win the round for them there, and that's going to be great news. So that was an odd round. Like, there were so many people flashed in that first fight.
Yeah.
That it was kind of hard to tell who was going to come out on top, but Haji got unflashed, like, I don't know, split second before anybody else.
Yeah, and I think that's really the big difference maker as well, because it would have allowed the Na'Vi player to actually drop down into pit. Sixer and his position would have been extremely exposed, and you have no way of reflashing the guy who makes the drop from apps into pit.
Yeah.
So again, that's how volatile the CT side is, right? Like the kill from Haji sets up everything for Sixer to give enough time to fight off the push. But if he doesn't get that, then the Na'Vi execute is just immaculate in that sense. Like it's going to be so much more effective.
Yeah. Oh wait, a lot of noise being made. Zeus, would he have heard this? I'm not even sure.
I think there's too many grenades going down at the initial time. But the second XMS drops off that, he's going to be aware. Oh, the timing. I think he heard the drop grenade. And it actually goes for the incorrect time. I think in that situation, you're probably better off holding down the smoke. You've just had Kyo put down an additional smoke further back for you, but instead it's going to be Zeus with a double entry. He's going to run right into that B bomb side. And again, see, with that aggressive positioning and how quickly the two B defenders fall, the rotation's never going to be in time. Zeus steps into an extremely aggressive position. Even though he loses out the initial battle versus Haji, Electronic's there to help him out.
It's actually such a cool idea for enemies pushing down on the wood stacks there.
Yeah.
But it's even heads-up play for XMS to sort of hear what's going on and to be ready. But the fact that he takes the shot kind of like it just
defeats everything.
Yeah, it betrays the whole B defense in just one bullet. He's like, oh, and
didn't get it.
Zeus just like, yep, I know what's up now. Just rushing right through. That's kind of tragic, but
it looked like they planned for it as well, because you can see the smoke is fading.
Yeah.
Kyo, right before that replay starts, split down a smoke further down a banana. So if you have an inkling that somebody's tucked away in that corner, he's still sectioned off from the rest of his team. They have no way of helping it unless they want to throw a wild pop, like a wild pop flash through, or like do something crazy like that, which is highly unlikely. I think Na'Vi are okay with sacrificing Zeus in that kind of a scenario. So yeah, it's true. Like, everything's set up perfectly for XMS and Kyo to have a really, really good B defense or banana defense to start things off, until XMS just decides to pull the carpet from their feet.
Well, I mean, you can't even really blame him. I think that's even the hardest part. Is like I
feel terrified with that, because I feel like whenever there's a smoke dissipating, I'm always the person to spot the opponent that last. Like, the other guy's been firing at me for like half a second already, and I'm just sitting there like, I have no idea what's going on.
Do you ever go and change like the level of detail and like try and figure out like which is the best?
I've done that so many times back and forth, but I can never, like, one time it's like, this is going to help you see people clearly when the smoke dissipates, but that means you can't see anything through Molotovs anymore. It's just like, oh, well, I can't win in this scenario. Yeah, it's kind of hard to figure out, isn't it? It's not exactly clear what works out best. I need smoke sprites. Yeah, that's the key, isn't it?
the good old days.
Yeah.
Let's bring
Let's not bring that back.
let's bring Interb back into it as well.
Oh god, DX level 110. All the
other
good
one,
jazz.
GL max size.
Oh, GL monolite.
It's some I realize we might be speaking in tongues, but there's at least another couple of like 35-year-olds out there. That
Let's just put it this way: Counter-Strike has been very modifiable through console over the years.
There's been some strange moments, hasn't there?
Definitely has been. Electronic gonna try his luck over towards this B bomb site. Doesn't just get tagged up down to 20 HP. XMS got a dodge initially, but super there to follow up. And in a matter of seconds, the defense of EnVyUs, even though they have the rotations coming in, is starting to crumble. Sixer finds Edward though. That's a nice get. No bomb down yet either, but
Bad. Scream hoping to follow it up. I mean, he has the aim for it, but it will be another round for Na'Vi. Now they're back in the lead at 13-12. My God, from 11-4 into 13-12. Don't think EnVy are enjoying this ride anymore.
yeah.
But they have gone back to the classic, the double AWP setup.
Oh, that's always like a Hail Mary maneuver, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, who would be the secondary opera, right, in most cases for the side? I guess it's Keo who would eventually get that off.
Yeah, didn't they pick up two? Maybe I'm lying. Maybe they
Maybe
didn't.
you are lying. Maybe they just bought it, but
Yeah, they just
decided not to use it.
They just tossed it around and cheated me. That's kind
we
of
don't need
unfair.
this. Yeah.
Well, what a shame. I feel like the double up would have been fun. It's true. It's not exactly clear here. I mean, I think probably would be Kiyoshima as the second one, but still, it's only going to be one. It's CSET 75 there on XMS and Haji with the MP9. Let's see what happens.
Oh, flick attempts.
Oh, if they Molotov the corner, yeah, I'm kind of glad that Scream got out of there. Because that M4, if that's gone, I mean, that's not a good look.
It's definitely true. I'm a bit worried for Haji. Like, obviously he's down in firepower with an MP9, but he's also been having issues actually just connecting his shots from this balcony pit area compared to what he was doing in all the past. Sixer goes in for a second attempt.
He's on 2 health.
Yeah, that's going to be the end of his aggression. Now the big worry really here is you can already see the rotation coming over from EnVy over towards the B bomb site. They've actually up to 4 players here. They're going all in. Pretty much here, if the B execute doesn't arrive, it's just going to be a 4-man save. They've literally left, I guess, their lowest value target or member, which is Haji with the MP9, to fend for himself, and he's going to take the same position as last time. Let's see if Na'Vi are keen to it.
I mean, even if they jump down with the AK versus the MP9, it should be just fine, no problem. Playing something, and Haji picks up the 1, and that's all I think you could have expected. So you're right. The immediate save being called from EnVy, not really interested in trying to fight for this, and I don't think you can blame them.
No, I think it's the right call. They've realized that because Sixer goes down on so low HP, he can't necessarily have any threatening presence towards mid. And they don't really have the utility to be able to help them back into a position where they can get mid. Scream is already rotated over towards B, so you have no way of actually doing anything from quad. You can't set up in a crossfire. So you have to take a gamble. I think it's just a very positive sign from EnVyUs to see them making that, or coming to that conclusion so early in the round, because oftentimes you could see players stick around until they lose, or go down to 3 players. And at that point, obviously the potential save is not going to be as strong in the follow-up round. But yeah. It's not a fun situation to have to do it in, though. Again, like, it doesn't feel like EnVyUs have had the chance to really play a lot of these weapon rounds.
No, like they start off being crippled almost immediately, and then they then it just isn't really functioning at all.
Yeah.
14-12. I can't believe that Na'Vi have made it back. That's them winning 10 out of the last 11 rounds, I think. So it's way out of control at this point.
And to me, like, what kind of put EnVyUs on edge is again similar mistakes that Na'Vi made in Banana. Like, that's the aggression in Banana that's not panned out. It's not well enough thought out, I guess, for them to do anything. I guess in the first instance it's a bit excuse because that's being simple. But in the second one where they had Zeus trapped at the bottom of Banana, that's definitely something they could play very differently and a lot better.
Yeah, and that, I mean, who knows, like that was such a close call that maybe it could have worked out. Scream, grenade actually might, oh, the timing might be great. Just in the boiler room, that does a lot of damage onto Flamey. And at very little risk to himself, he's just going to be falling back around the corner. They have a 3-man stack here at the A-bomb site. They do have to sort of keep especially that library player alive.
Yeah. And they're afraid to make the cheat rotation over towards B. I'm not sure if that's partly because they've seen Na'Vi actually being willing to do B splits, going through CT spawn as well. That could definitely play into their heads, and Scream's going to go down as well. And look at all the real estate Na'Vi has as they wrap around.
Sixer, oh, misses the off shot. He's in so much trouble. Zeus actually with just a beautiful opening. I feel like Zeus is just, he's being just a bit of
he's being a bit of a beast here in the last like 3-4 rounds.
Yeah, he's just a wrecking ball rolling into the bomb site. It's like they can't stop him for some reason.
He had a really rough half start. Well, first half, I guess.
Yeah.
Most of Na'Vi really did, but he's up to 13 frags now. Definitely getting into it in a much bigger manner.
What a great event, and XMS is going to be going down. Nothing is saved. 15-12. Man, it was a great ride for EnVy throughout almost all of this Inferno map, but now the wheels have come off.
Well, you did foreshadow it.
Yeah.
CT side not as easy to play.
I mean, we said that, but I think we also unfortunately said that if they got like 11 rounds, then it wouldn't matter.
No, well, yeah, we did. We did kind of allude to that. We kind of figured they would luck into a couple of weapon rounds, but that really hasn't been the case.
Yeah, roll the damn dice at this point, you know? Something's got to work. They need 3 rounds in a row to play more overtime. It was overtime on the first map, and Na'Vi won it now. They might not even get to that spot here. EnVy, even if Na'Vi were the favorites, they've actually been, I think, surprising a bunch of people right now, so you kind of want to see them carry that through. Scream is low, and a couple of more grenades will take care of Sixer, and again, more heartbreak.
More heartbreak, but Haji doing his damnedest does find Edward, finally. Edward's been given pretty free admission to that AA Palace area for the better part of the half. I guess, again, it comes down to the fact that EnVyUs hasn't necessarily had the best economy at all times, but Haji's been pretty content with playing far back. But one of the ways to mess up with Navi's default really is to try to bring it to Na'Vi up in the A apartments. Haji still has a lot of work left to be done though. Again, the gamble stack over towards B, Haji left alone, and Na'Vi going towards Haji.
No
corner,
chance.
yeah, no corner to hide in this time.
No, he's just waiting and listening for any kind of footstep. XMS going to walk right into the shot, and I mean, this is pretty much done here. Scream incredibly low on health, and Kiyoshima with the FAMAS trying to sneak in behind. Actually, you're going to find a kill there. Electronic maybe a bit more aggressive than needed. The bomb only has just been planted, but good return from Zeus, and that's a 1 versus 3. Kiyoshima going to be going down 16-12 in favor of Na'Vi as they take down EnVy in 2 maps. But I wouldn't say anywhere as smoothly as maybe we were expecting.
Oh, no, not even close to that. I expected this to be a 2-0 series for Na'Vi where EnVy are basically struggling heavily to get close to double figures. Instead, they bring it to overtime on overpass. They were definitely within the shot of actually winning this map as well. Again, they've won every pistol up until that second half of Inferno. Could have been sitting at 14 rounds right off the bat. Yeah.
What an interesting turn of events, and obviously we'll have a panel breakdown of all that went on. I think, I hope we're not alone in being surprised and a little bit hopeful for EnVy going into the tournament a little bit later on. It's Paul with all of the boys on the desk.
Indeed it is. Thank you very much, Anders and Vendetta, with our opening series. A series which, well, I didn't think we were going to see quite that sort of play from EnVy, but it was decent from them. Let's find out what Natu and Thorin thought of it. Natu, it was a tight game, really, that probably on paper shouldn't have been tight.
Yeah, I mean, it felt to me like Na'Vi was playing too timid. They need to kind of play a little bit more aggressive and be in the faces of EnVy, especially on their CT side much more. Because they kind of let EnVy run their things and let them do what they wanted to do instead of doing maybe a bit of push here and there, try to intervene before they got anywhere near attacking the bomb site. I feel like that's where EnVy would have struggled. They would have had issues trying to readjust. So whether it is the fact that it's the first game of the tournament or what's going on here, but pretty shaky from Na'Vi.
Yeah, and Duncan, I know you don't like those sort of platitudes in the sense of, oh, it's early, it's our first game, we're a bit tired, we haven't quite got over our jailer. I know you think all that's kind of nonsense, don't you?
To a degree, I actually agree with Natu, though, because the bizarre thing is, actually, Na'Vi, famously on the CT side, are pretty aggressive, actually. They tend to push quite a lot, and especially for information. So I do feel like, bizarrely, even if you take that into account, because you can't really know how tired someone is, I would definitely say the fact that you're playing, like, sort of an unknown opponent for you, and you know you're a massive favourite. I think, in a way, they were expecting, if we just play back and we're the better team, we'll just sort of win by the numbers, you know? Like, we'll definitely get this many rounds and the rest of it. What they couldn't have accounted for, though, is EnVyUs wins every pistol round. Scream actually had an amazing series. In the first map, he pretty much almost single-handedly won the game for them. But in both maps, if you notice, what would happen was Simple kind of had like a slow start, but by the end of the map, you'd check on the scoreboard, he'd be top fragging every time. So this is one of the reasons why, while on the one hand, Na'Vi, for a top-ranked team in the world, can be very, very brittle, very fragile, and can kind of play to the level of their opponents. But when you really do have like the best player who ever played Counter-Strike, seemingly, you can kind of pull yourself out of those holes even when you get into them, you know.
Yeah, Simple finishing overall 31-22 on Overpass. But I mean, the weird thing about it is that Haji also had a very good game in that first game, particularly.
Yeah, and obviously he's a player exactly where these players aren't used to playing against him. You know, he might have played a few EPL games, maybe like one small LAN or something. Yeah. He's not a player who's been known at the top level, but I actually did get to see him when I was at Gfinity last year when he was playing in the EnVyUs Academy team, who actually won the second season. And the thing about him was he was mainly like the MVP player of that team, and he was pretty aggressive. Like, he's someone where you could see he might have a shot if he gets to the pro level. I have to say as well, the thing about the EnVyUs team is it's hard to really take this and say, right, they'll replicate this in their next game. Because remember, they don't really have an in-game leader. Right. It's like a makeshift lineup that they're being forced into. With fair play to people like Scream, I get the sense that since they know they're like teetering on the edge of their career, they're trying to actually like play to show that they're good still. So there's still a reason to play to your best and try your hardest. But yeah, sadly, this was a very good chance to get at least a map win. And unfortunately for them, Na'Vi just too good, but only a little bit.
Yeah, not much in it. I mean, that first map as well. Like, we're sitting there thinking, how is this going to overtime?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, if you think of the big picture, well, look at Inferno specifically. This game was like, what, 8-2 at best for EnVy. As their T side, they managed to even reset Na'Vi's economy. So you're looking at a game, you're thinking, okay, that's definitely going to be a map that EnVy is going to win. But still, Na'Vi finds the way of winning it. That's where you see the difference between these two teams right now.
Yeah. Just looking through some of the stats. Simple 52-37 overall, plus 15. Electronic 47-34, plus 13. Edward plus 8. Flamey plus 4. Zeus minus 4. Pretty what you'd kind of expect. On the other side of things, though, Scream plus 12. On a losing team, he's had a monster series.
Yeah, not bad. Yeah. The problem with Scream is he's always had the talent. Like, people don't realise, sure, in the modern day, no one's got him on their top 10, top 20 list or whatever. But if you look at his aim, it's still there. It's still really good. His problem is he's been in a dysfunctional team, and even worse, the in-game leader he had before and Happy, his strength's never really been taking like stars and using them at the best. You know, he used to be the star of the EnVyUs team, so unfortunately, he wasn't really like well balanced and well suited within the team, and he's at a position in his career where, despite performances like this, he's not really on the cards to get back into a G2 or to be part of a great French team. So he's kind of stuck in no man's land at the moment. I think actually, sadly, the moment that defined the series here for me was a late one on Inferno, where Na'Vi on Terra's side pushed all the way up. They wrapped around through the CT Arch side, and they literally got someone fully behind two Na'Vi members when there was only something like two Na'Vi members, not two EnVyUs players left alive. So the idea that on CT side you could be completely flanked by the terrorist entry fragger and not even know he's behind you inside the site, like, that kind of shows the comms were probably off. Maybe they don't have a hierarchy as to who makes what call. They're probably just playing like kind of a pug, I'm afraid.
Yeah, and as much as we could have probably expected from them. Let's take a look at the bracket, bring you right up to date with where we are so far. Just the one series played, of course, in Group A, which is what we're focusing on today. Na'Vi taking down EnVy 2-0. And if you're just coming in, you're thinking, well, that looks pretty par for the course. Actually, it was a lot closer than you might have expected. Check the VOD out, especially game number 1. NIP versus VG Flash is the next game in this group. So we'll look forward to that.
Yeah, we do.
It'll be interesting to see how VG do. And Duncan, you mentioned in the pre-show that these guys, they've got a bit about them. They can play.
I mean, first of all, they've got two players who were in the old Tyler, the one that famously beat the world champions when it was Luminosity Gaming at DreamHack Malmo. So they've got Attacker and they've got Summer, who used to be called Fancy One. So these are players with some tenure. They've played plenty of international tournaments. They kind of know what they're doing. And then some of the other players in their team, okay, some of them are a little bit newer, fresh faces, but as a squad, first of all, in their own region, they're pretty decent. And then when they come here, they're not a squad that everyone's played against. Like NIP, I'm not actually sure if NIP has actually played. They might have played them at Star Series, I'm not sure. But whenever you play against a team for the first time, there's always going to be like random elements that you can't really account for until you play the match.
We're going to get more from both of you in just a moment. Time for us to take a quick break, though, and when we come back, we will have that series, Vici Gaming, Flash Gaming, call them what you will. They'll be going head-to-head with the legendary NIP, and it's coming up after this.